Hey guys, so we're here, back again with another review of the epitome of wet peg worms in my area. Jokes aside, today we'll be taking a look at the Mattel Masterverse Masters of the Universe Revelation Andra. But before we get into meat and taters of this review, since I no longer have the packaging for this figure, why don't we take a look-see at Andra's accessories? Starting off with some alternate hands, which for whatever reason, this quote-unquote side character from the series gets all the interchangeable hands, whereas Teela, the quote-unquote star of the show, did not. Very weird. We got a pair of Kung Fu grip hands. Nothing to put in them, but they're there. So that's good. We also have some relaxed, or you could even call these style pose hands. So that is good. And then we also have some alternate options for this figure in the cloak and helmet setup here, which I have two Andras. I was able to pick her up dirt cheap on clearance at my local Target, not once but twice. And the first time I got the shaft, I didn't get the helmet in the cloak. Or no. Did I not get the helmet? No, I didn't get the helmet. I only got the figure with the hands and the little blast effect. Second time around, I was able to get it with the cloak and the helmet here. And not quite sure how the cloak goes on. I have it fastened in a way so it doesn't fall off, but I'm pretty sure that's probably not accurate, but I don't really care. It's my toy. I do what I want. But it looks cool that way. It looks a lot more like a Star Wars character this way, but I mean, she is not really the most MOTU looking MOTU figure on my Masterverse shelf, I must say. But on top, coming with all that, she does also come with this little pew pew for her gauntlets here. Of course, plug this in like so, and there you go. She's firing a little pew pew. And I wonder if we can use this on other figures. Mostly like Hasbro figures, because that peg is rather small. So I wonder if you couldn't fit it in some of the G.I. Joe guns or something. But either way, setting that off to the side, taking a closer look at Andra. I don't hate this figure, but it is very bland. I must say that the Revelation females, with the exception of the second Teela and the newer Evil Lynn, the first three were really kind of boring, to me anyways. The Evil Lynn especially, because I don't care. And then the Teela was alright. And then this one is alright. I would say of the three, this is the most fun because you get the most options with her. You get all the hands, you get the two heads, and you get the cloak and the blast effect. That's pretty good. That's a decent spread. But, yeah. This figure is just one my Target refuses to stop carrying. They keep getting her in. I don't know what's going on with all that. I want the new Eternia Stratos and the Roboto and heck, even the new Evil Lynn and the Frosta, but they keep getting this wave. And of course the Scareglow usually sells. The Stinkor will sell after a while. Fisto will sell after a while. Nobody buys this character up here. It's just not happening. Because on top of the fact she is a female character, she is a black female character. That is the epitome of peg warmer in this day and age, at least in my area. Like, the Dora Milajes from Black Panther, they're awesome characters, but they do not sell worth a crap. Even like Roadblock from G.I. Joe does not sell worth a crap. It is almost hilarious. You know, I like a lot of black characters. You know, Spawn, regular on the channel. The infamous Lemon Spawn, right? I love Spawn. It's black character. He doesn't have a hard time moving because he doesn't look like this. So, you know, while I'm not against this, they need to like short pack this type of character if they're gonna make these types of characters. It's just they don't sell. I know a lot of people like to give Todd McFarlane crap, but he is right to an extent. But as far as articulation is concerned, her head can rotate. These ball pigs are not that great. It's got some up and down, but not a lot. Excuse me. Shoulders go out to the side, back down. Her little pauldron here kind of hinders movement, but not a lot. She does have a bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow. Works okay. Swivel at the wrist with a hinge. All the hands have the same hinge, even the grip hands, which should honestly have the other type of hinge. She's got some tilt in the torso. Not a ton. Does rotate. She's got the floaty belt there. Hips can kick out. These are really tight. At least on this figure. She does have a thigh cut. Double E. Works fine. And she has a boot cut. And a hinge in the foot. With the rocker. Works okay. I think those are facing straight. I believe so. This kind of squared off part you want in the front there. Had to flip some boots around lately. They've been put on backwards, but yeah, I like this figure, but it's definitely not one of my top 10 from this line, like by any means. I like the character in the show. I thought she was a good character, but her design is just very basic. And I'm looking forward to seeing her don some Man-at-Arms armor to look a little bit more like a part of the Masters universe, you know? So as it stands, she just kind of looks out of place. Which, it's nice to have something different, I guess, but I don't know. I like Masters, you know, gaudy, colorful, in your face, you know, very out there character designs. Like that frickin' Too Bad or something like that, you know? But, yeah, a decent figure, but not my favorite by any means. So, with that being said, before this review drags out any longer than it already has, we now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is Andra, alongside her partner in crime, not her girlfriend, Tila, rocking the more mercenary-esque look. And like I said before, I do much prefer the more traditional looking Tila we have in this line, but this wasn't a bad figure for its time, if that's the right phrase. I mean, literally came out a year ago, and the classic one came out this past year, so not quite sure if that's the right choice of words or not, but I'm gonna roll with it. And we also have the most powerful man in the universe, He-Man, which I think this figure gets a bad rap. I actually quite like this Revelation He-Man, despite its issues, you know, the kind of sickly looking skin tone and the derpy face sculpt aside. I think it's a decent figure. At least the sculpt is alright for the most part. I don't think that's too shabby. And, you know, we've come a long way since these three. We've gotten lots of Masterverse figures, and I think this line is just getting better and better. And I think that New Eternia Too Bad that I looked at recently is a prime example of that. That said, I never really noticed how much larger the male characters were in this line compared to the females. I mean, they are pretty freaking short, dude. That's crazy. And last, but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythical Legion's Brother Mandibulus, Yimkai, beloved Spawn, who as usual, towers over everyone. So with that being said, time to wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, while I don't feel that this is by any means the strongest release in the Masterverse line thus far. It's definitely not the weakest. Again, you do have quite a few display options with this particular figure between the two different head sculpts, the little blast effect for her gauntlet there, all the interchangeable hands you could possibly need, and the very odd but still nice soft goods cloak. You can pick and choose how you want to display this figure, and options are always good. The more options you have, the more fun you can have with a figure. But I'm gonna be honest, I did have a dickens of a time figuring out a decent pose to put this figure in, because it is very difficult to have her one hand reach over to utilize the little blaster on her gauntlet there. So maybe if they do another Andra figure, make those little shoulder pieces a bit softer so this pose is a little bit easier to obtain. Again, it was quite difficult to get her pose even in a basic pose like this. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you're so inclined, please feel free to do all the YouTube rigmarole, as well as hit me up over on Instagram at Overlord Productions. If you ever want to talk toys or anything in particular, that is the #1 best way to get a hold of yours truly. But remember, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is, especially when I know someone's going to give me crap for what I said at the beginning of this review, but hey, I was one of the guys on the internet defending the MOTU Revelation series when it came out. When everyone else was complaining about it, me and a few friends of mine were defending it hardcore because it's a pretty decent show. Again, it gets a lot of hate that I don't feel is necessary. Along with the CGI series, that one ain't too bad either. But with that being said, till next time, I'll catch you guys later.